Yo, welcome to Hard Pass. I am your host, Jacques Slade. Today on the show, we've got Zion Williamson crystallizing something we've all been thinking. A signature shoe debut that is flying under the radar, tacos and trading cards for some reason, and of course, we have our Hard Pass. All right, let's just start the show with some hot takes. First off, the long-awaited Jerry Lorenzo-led Fear of God Athletics and Adidas collaboration is set to finally arrive this holiday season, and one of the featured sneakers is this pair called the Two. Now, I have no idea why it's called the Two, but it's definitely the most interesting pair from what I've seen. For what it's worth, this led me down the rabbit hole of checking out how the Nike Fear of God sneakers are doing, and what do you know? The pairs that I liked are reselling for close to retail after years of selling for double or triple the worth. If the Adidas collabs are hot out of the gate, going back to the Nikes that clearly have the same design DNA might be worth investigating. I'm still not feeling that pair with the 3 stripes on the midfoot or the toe box area. It's like somebody took those eye black sticks that athletes use to prevent glare, right there on the bottom of their eyes, and they just drew 3 stripes on the shoes. Great. Now the shoes look like Tom Brady's face, and I can't unsee it. It's so weird. So I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I know all of DJ Khaled's major keys. It's such a big part of his gimmick that he even wrote a whole book about them. I think I have a signed copy around here somewhere, but I honestly can't look at you viewers and say that I read them. Regardless, Khaled was a guest on Sneaker Shopping, and I feel he broke out with the most major of keys when he was telling the story of how Fat Joe may or may not have been trying to get one of his 4 pairs of Carhartt M&M 4s by force, allegedly.
I have 4 of these.
I know. He asked for one, right?
And I have one I wore and the rest are all new. And he's like, yo, give me the worn ones. I'm looking at him like, are you crazy? Mm-hmm. Like I was running, like grabbing, like it's my first time that I thought I was gonna have to fight him. And this is my family.
And
no, I'm
he's
not doing that.
I know.
I'm just telling you,
Of
thought.
course.
Sometimes you think and don't. Major key. Everything you think doesn't mean you have to react. You know what I'm saying? So I had to stop myself. I'm not fighting Joey Crack.
No.
Everything you think, you don't have to react. Now, that's not just a lesson for when Fat Joe comes to your house looking for sneakers. That's a lesson for life, man. Just because you thought of something doesn't mean you have to let the world know about it or act on it, especially right now. This especially applies to social media. Man, do I have to start reading the Khaled book? Do we have to start taking his meetings seriously? Zion Williamson and Jordan Brand released a commercial for the Jordan Zion 3, and it brought up an interesting point that people have made through the years.
The first shoe is like the intro. The second is the telling more about yourself. But the third one is the trifecta. That's the sneaker. Yeah, you can't miss with the third sneaker. And we didn't.
The third signature shoe is the one where it all comes together. Like Zion said, the first shoe is an intro, the second has a little more personality, and the third is the whole package. In Zion's case, it makes sense, but I don't know if it's something you can say about every signature line. The most famous 3, of course, is the Air Jordan 3. And if every third signature shoe was the culmination of a vision and then subsequently compared to the Air Jordan 3, we're going to be in for a long day. Like the Air Penny 3 doesn't pop like the Penny 1 and Penny 2. The Reebok Answer 2, I like it, but we're still waiting for a retro of those. And technically, the late Kobe Bryant has 3 third signature shoes. The Adidas KB8 3 that he barely wore, the canceled Kobe 3 that may have led to his jump to Nike, and the Nike Kobe 3 that's the answer to the trivia question, what did Kobe wear before changing the sneaker game forever with the Nike Kobe 4? There are other examples, but Zion being the messenger is a little curious is all I'm saying. Oh, and you tell me if this is meant to be a critique of Paul George's shoes or his college teammates for not going as hard in practice as he does.
So I get to college and we're getting our sneakers and we're like, let's wear this one in practice today. So we'll wear that one in practice and coming back to the locker room after practice, I'm looking at my sneaker like, man, my sneaker look like it done been through like a gauntlet. And I'm looking at other people's sneakers like, it look like they didn't even play basketball in their sneakers.
LeBron James blind ranked some of the best sneakers in his catalog, and I'm gonna guess he's seen a few of these on TikTok because he got the formula figured out. The first sneaker, LeBron 9 Watch the Throne, out the gate is always gonna be a banger, but you can't make it number 1. The next 2, Cork 10 and Miami Night 8 Lows, solid, but fundamentally middle of the pack in the rankings. And the penultimate choice, the Zoom Generation First Game, is the toughest because you either put that shoe at the top of the rankings and hope the final one, the South Beach 8, is a dud, or you leave the top spot open and hope for the best. James went with the latter, and it worked out. Imagine his feelings if he had put the Zoom Generation and left the South Beach at number 5. Man. All right. Hey, have you heard about the Puma Scoot Zero? What's the Puma Scoot Zero, you might ask? Well, it's the debut signature shoe from Portland Trail Blazer guard Scoot Henderson, the number 3 overall pick from this year's NBA draft, and the reason why the Blazers felt comfortable moving on from Damian Lillard. Puma and Henderson seemingly shock dropped the Scoot Zero on everybody during media day out of nowhere and proceeded to wear them for his preseason debut a few days ago. According to Sneaker News, Henderson signed with Puma in 2022 while he was still with the G League Ignite, and the signature shoe has been teased since the past June. I put that teased or said teased that way because if you tease something but no one noticed, did you really tease something? I mean, that's a little unfair to Puma and Scoot because they were up against the massive Victor Wembanyama hype machine. By the way, Wembanyama does not have a signature shoe yet. He's wearing the Nike Zoom GT Run, so Scoot hasn't beaten that department at least. But if you look at the Puma Hoops IG account, the most recent Scoot-related post as of this recording is from the NBA draft when he was talking about his All-Pro Nitro Player exclusive. Meanwhile, Nike Basketball is filled with posts about the Nike LeBron 21 and the Nike Sabrina 1, and Adidas Basketball is hyping up Dame's arrival in Milwaukee and Anthony Edwards' first signature shoe. I'm sure Puma has something cooking in terms of marketing Scoot and his kicks. But if I had so much invested in Scoot that he would be joining the likes of Michael Jordan, Shaquille O'Neal, Allen Iverson, and LeBron James as signature shoe athletes in their rookie year, I would give him a bit more of a spotlight on the socials last year, let alone yesterday. Before we move on to our pick of the week, I just want to give a shout out to legendary sneaker designer Steven Smith, the man with arguably the most common name in America, right next to Juan Martinez, has amassed an amazing CV working with New Balance, Adidas, Fila, Reebok, Nike, and others. In that time, he has dropped a number of classics that are selling more units now than when they first came out in the 80s, 90s, and the 2000s. So why the flowers now? Well, he was getting a lot of props from Jaylen Brown, who was featured in last week's show. This week, Smith left a comment on Instagram in regard to Jaden Smith, no relation, top 5 New Balances, which of course included sneakers that Smith designed. It just dawned on me that while yes, sneaker culture definitely recognizes Smith's contributions in the past and in the present, he's not known on the same level as a Tinker Hatfield. Smith definitely deserves a spot on the sneaker design Mount Rushmore, but it kind of feels like he's the one that has to compete for a spot, whereas Tinker's place is secure and not far behind are names like Peter Moore and Bruce Kilgore. All right, for our pick of the week is the Reebok Hurikaze 2 Seattle Alternate in OG Inverse. These are on the 20th for $130. So the former Kamikaze 2 is dropping 2 new colorways that reimagine Shawn Kemp's time in Seattle. The Seattle Alternate remixes an OG colorway of the shoe, and I'm not gonna lie to you, if you had told me this was an OG from the 90s, I would totally believe you. Meanwhile, the OG Inverse colorway gives us a what if, as in what if Shawn Kemp wore those really funky Christmas sweater looking red and green Sonics jerseys. For more sneakers dropping this week, make sure you check out the Heat Check. It's over on the Cousteau channel. All right, Tyler Hero's goal this season is to be untouchable, meaning he's so good that the Miami Heat can't possibly trade him. Yeah, I'd work on that too if all I've known as an NBA player is chilling at the best spots in South Beach until 4 a.m. like I'm Tommy Vercetti, and the alternate is, well, anywhere else like I'm Claude. Wait, the guy from GTA 3's name was Claude? Like Jean-Claude Van Damme? Huh. Kind of puts all the wanton violence in that game in perspective when his name was Claude all along. I mean, it's not even a cool name like Jacques. Oh man, I'm so glad my parents named me Jacques instead of Claude. Could you imagine? Claude Slade? Like, Cousteau doesn't even exist without Jacques. My name doesn't sound like the secret identity of a cool DC Comics supervillain. And everyone will be like, oh, like that guy who doesn't talk in GTA 3? That would kind of be the worst. Where was I? Right. From one player clinging on to his best life in Miami to another starting to live his in Toronto. Grady Dick. No, there's no other reason why I would be talking about these two in consecutive bits. Anyways, younger Tyler Hero, which is crazy to say because Hero is only 23, was doing media day gimmicks for the Raptors, and one of them was a vibe check where you had to finish the lyric. It's an easy one. Last name ever, blank, blank, blank. Everyone should know that, right? But what I wasn't expecting were a couple of Raptor vets saying that that's an old song, and they were kind of surprised Grady knew it. And sure enough, I looked it up, and Forever by Drake, Kanye, Lil Wayne, and Eminem is from 2009. I still remember when LeBron James sang along to M's verse during a game against the Lakers, which might also double as the first recorded instance of him messing up the lyrics to a song. Anyways, that was in 2010. So yes, by the laws of time and space, that song might as well be old as dirt. That would be like a rookie Mike Miller. Again, no reason why I'm comparing Tyler Hero to Grady Dick to Mike Miller. Asking Grant Hill during the Orlando Magic Media Day in the year 2000 to finish the lyric, all I want to do is zoom a zoom, zoom, zoom in the poom, poom, blank, 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 blank. Yeah, we're old people. People are mad at Topps, the trading card company, because of tacos. That's a strange sentence, and I didn't think I would ever say it, but allow me to explain. In this year's Topps Chrome product, there were randomly inserted cards called taco fractors, which are basically cards with shiny backgrounds and taco emojis. They were limited to only 5 of each player featured. Topps apparently told people to hold on to those cards because they were going to announce at a later date what these cards were for. Well, during that time, the taco fractors were selling for a lot of money. Like, a Bryce Harper card from a similar product that was numbered to 5 would sell for $300 to $400. Bryce Harper's taco fractors were selling 10 times that. A wild card taco fractor that did not feature any player sold for $11,000. Turns out that the taco fractors was a promotion with Taco Bell, where if you have the taco fractor card on the player who first steals a base in the World Series, you get Taco Bell for life, aka a $15,000 digital gift card. I guess the reveal pissed off a lot of collectors who thought they were going to get something other than tacos. I mean, it's a limited edition card. There's taco emojis on the card. Virtually every sport does a free taco promotion, and Taco Bell has partnered with Major League Baseball for free tacos for stolen bases in the World Series for a few years now. Seems pretty obvious that this was always the inevitable landing spot. It would be like me doing a video in the studio, surrounded by sneakers, announcing that I was doing a giveaway and not telling anybody until I picked a winner that the prize was the signed DJ Khaled book. Moving along. Let's talk about my five-time Super Bowl champion San Francisco 49ers. They beat the hype out of the Dallas Cowboys, but come on now, let's pump the brakes here, Niner gang. That was nothing really to gloat about. I mean, we're doing just what we're supposed to be doing, and that's destroying teams that are not on our level. Now, if we're really challenged by a real team like the one that beat us in the NFC Championship game last season, the Philadelphia Eagles, or a squad on the rise like the Detroit Lions, then I would be happy we won. But the Cowboys? I'm not going to gloat here like I'm Stephen A. Smith, because you know why? That was light work. You can't really see it because it's off frame, but I'm doing the too small celebration right now. My hand is like an atom away from the floor. That's how small them Cowboys were to us. Okay, now that we've gotten the foolishness out of the way, I'm also not getting too excited about this Niners are the best team in football noise. I just want to get us through the rest of the season reasonably healthy to get back to the same point where we were last year, which was fresh off another win against the Cowboys in the playoffs and in the NFC Championship game. With Brock Purdy being able to throw, I think we have a real shot to break through and make it to the Super Bowl and actually cash in. Not that I have trauma the last 2 times we were in the Super Bowl. No, none at all. I don't sometimes wake up in the middle of the night yelling, Joe Flacco is not elite, damn it. I either don't care at all, like whenever we dog walk America's team, or care too much, like thinking about the Baltimore Super Bowl. Don't even get me started on the Kansas City Super Bowl. Again, I'm not stressing. All right, it's time for this week's Hard Pass, where we take a look at something in the culture that just needs to go. Let's start with Sony, who just announced the PS5 Slim. While it's not the rumored Pro version and it still looks like the meatiest router ever, the Slim should be easier to buy, unlike the first 2 years of the PS5's life cycle, and it will take up less space in your entertainment center. What is disappointing is the lack of a price drop. It's possible Sony is saving those discounts for when they do announce a PS5 Pro possibly next year, but still, the Slim used to be the sign that the current gen PlayStation was getting cheaper. This time around, the price is not only staying the same, but the version without the now optional Blu-ray drive is actually going up from $399 to $499. And no, that extra 165 gigabytes of storage space is not worth $50. Anyways, this week's actual hard pass goes to gatekeeping. By now, you've probably heard the story of a golf shop in London that is trying to prevent resellers from getting their hands on a pair of the Travis Scott Air Jordan 1 Low Golf. Every sneaker blog and IG account and golf media account has covered the upcoming release, and with good reason. While Jordan 1 Golfs have become a normal part of the sneaker and golf shoe release calendar, a collaboration with one of the biggest names in sneaker culture is a reason to celebrate. Traditionalists might hate it, but the arrival of a non-familiar face to the game of golf is important to growing the game. It sure is hell a lot more interesting than 54-hole team golf that no one gives a about except Patrick Reed. By the way, how those world golf ranking points working out for those guys? Still got them? No? No? Damn, son. But I guess that's what the bag was for, right? Anyway, the sneakers and the hype surrounding them is an opportunity for Travis fans who might not have been interested in golf to pick up a club and go to the driving range. Of course, it would be better if Nike did not make this a limited release like other Travis collabs, but that's a complaint for a whole nother time. The shop, sensing an opportunity here to get their name out, is holding a raffle, which I'm sure will be totally fair. They will allow people to attend an exclusive in-store event, aka chock full of cool kids, where they will have to prove their golfing bona fides by hitting a 200-yard drive, 150 for the ladies, on a simulator. They will have 2 chances to nail the drive. It's not explained what happens if they don't hit the drive, but I'm guessing they won't have a problem selling their shoes to the cool kids who were just invited because they were cool kids. As you can tell, I'm not a fan of this. A few years ago, we expressed a similar distaste for skate shops who asked people who wanted Nike SBs to prove that they were skaters by doing tricks or being content to walk out of the shop with a crushed box. We've seen stores do stupid like ask people to wear specific real skater attire and jump over Jordans while wearing Yeezys. Okay, I made that last one up, but I wouldn't be surprised if some stores have tried it. Anyways, a video is circulating on sneaker Twitter about a particular shop that is literally crushing SB boxes before you can buy them. But you might say, they are doing this to keep the resellers out. Yeah, because resellers can't sell without the boxes and don't play golf. Have you seen the average reseller at SneakerCon? They're the kids who had parents who probably gave them a golf club when they were babies and had lessons by the time they could walk. They hung out in country clubs before they discovered sneakers, and besides, resellers have other ways of acquiring those shoes. They don't need to go through these hoops. The groups that are being hurt by stunts like this are those who want to get into the game of golf and those who like golf but also choke under pressure. If you're new to the game and happen to win an opportunity to swing for these kicks, chances are you're gonna whiff those 2 attempts in front of dozens of people. I don't know about you, but that's kind of traumatizing to someone who has no experience playing in front of others. And if you do play golf on a semi-regular basis, you know that it's a lot different when you're just having fun with your buddies playing 36 on a Saturday and when there's actually something on the line and there are people watching you. Yeah, it's a sneaker that's selling for, or reselling, I should say, for $1,500. But it might as well be Sunday in Augusta on the 18th with a green jacket on the line if you don't hit that drive right down the middle for 200 yards. Now, am I making too big of a deal out of this? Yes. Well, maybe. It's a publicity stunt by a golf shop, and it worked to perfection because it's being covered everywhere. But it goes back to the problem where we are ostensibly keeping out a certain type of people from enjoying sneakers. Yes, resellers cashing in on this release is a problem, but so is not expanding golf's fan base. I would hate for someone who never paid attention to golf before get hyped to try the game out because someone they admired like Travis is now getting into it, only to be discouraged because there's a barrier to entry like hitting a golf ball 200 yards. That to me is sadder than watching a reseller hit a 325-yard stripe on a simulator and collect their shoes only to flip it later that night. We have to do better, people. Oh, and Nike, just make more shoes. Of all the Travis collabs, this should be the one that should be a GR. And you guys know that. That's going to do it for the show. Thank you guys for watching Hard Pass. I am Jacques Slade. I'll see you next week. If you would like to possibly be featured in a future episode, call us at 818-493-9325. Leave a short message, your socials if you want, no more than 30 seconds. All right, I'll see you next week. Peace.